Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag, and it is absolutely wonderful to have you along for the ride. Have a little issue with our intro as of late, so I have the thumbnail for you. What's going on, everybody? Nice to have you. We got a lot to get into today. We had Philadelphia Eagles talking. Yesterday, we had Nick Sirianni talking about his new deal, kind of. Didn't talk about the years. There was a report, and it's the only report I have seen on the numbers for Nick Sirianni, and it's non-specific. Howard Eskin reported, what was it? Just past $10 million. $10 million a year. If that is the case, there is a bargain low price for a Super Bowl winning coach and a guy who's been to the Super Bowl twice. And if this is like an $11.5 million deal per season, okay. Nick is getting drastically underpaid, but I guess good for the Eagles. I guess Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie got a bigger deal on their Super Bowl winning coach. Like, I understand that coordinators are obviously very important here. Vic Fangio can't be cheap. Kevin Patullo, I would imagine, would be kind of on the cheaper end of things. You're paying Jeff Stoutland essentially coordinator money. If this is an $11 million a year type of deal, again, easily past $10 million, that's the only report we have out there, that would be shocking to me. I would absolutely have expected at very least $15 million when Ben Johnson just got a new deal for $13 million a year to coach the Bears. That's amazing to me. Now, no one else has talked about the numbers. Jordan Mailata even asked during his press conference yesterday, how many years is it for? How much is it for? How much is it worth? You know, all that. And it was like, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Okay, bargain low prices, I guess. All right, whatever. Either way, he's here. They're not changing that part of their coaching staff. So the Eagles hopefully just do what they did last year, which is, win the Super Bowl again. Speaking of which, Nick Sirianni yesterday spoke, again, very briefly, acknowledged the contract. It's good. I'm happy. Yeah, whatever. But as far as going back to a Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni talked about how other teams kind of rest on their laurels without realizing that they're resting on their laurels. They're saying, oh, look at the success we had. We could do it again next year. Let's go. No, it's okay. That's what we did last year. How do we improve upon it? Because even if you win, that doesn't mean that you're perfect. And the pursuit of perfection, as Nick Sirianni always talks about, is always something that's out there. The pursuit of perfection. You're never going to get it. You got to know you're never going to get it. But that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it fun. And that's what makes it great. Jalen Hurts offered great words of appreciation and congratulations to his head coach on getting his new deal. Jordan Mailata. There were 4 people that spoke yesterday. Sirianni, Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Mailata. Mailata was acting like he was trying to sell people on Nick Sirianni. Like, I didn't need him to sell me on. He loves him. Just flat out loves Nick Sirianni. Well, let's hear what he had to say about coach's new deal, his coach's new deal. We'll also let you hear what he had to say about Jordan Mailata, the tush push. Jalen Hurts had no comment on the tush push. Didn't really have anything to get into regarding whatever the league was going to rule today. But Jordan Mailata actually said he hopes they ban the tush push because he hates the name. He hates the name. That's why he hopes they ban the tush push. And if they don't ban the tush push, or if they do ban the tush push, then they're just going to have Jalen Hurts run it on his own. And that still seems like a play that's going to work when your quarterback can squat 600 pounds, blah, blah, blah. We all know. But it was really enjoyable to listen to Jordan Mailata talk about the offseason, talk about his head coach, and talk about a play that for no reason other than I know the commissioner hates it. They tabled it for a reason. They actually thought they could get more votes over the next month and a half, and now it's back on the table. For no reason other than people just seem to really hate it. I think it gets banned. I think later today we find out that the Eagles iteration of the quarterback sneak gets banned in the NFL as we know it, as does pushing an offensive player with the football. So I guess no longer pushing the piles that happen down the field, guys on the 3-yard line. Saquon Barkley, imagine this, Saquon Barkley actually gets stopped. He's got 3 defenders stopping him from going across the goal line. But like any good running back, he keeps his legs moving. Jordan Mailata can't run up behind him, pick them all up like they're wee babies, and then carry them across the goal line. No, it can't happen. if this rule goes through. Once again, as we talked about yesterday, setting pace of play and safety of game, which are two things that the tush push certainly does not affect. But here we are. People just don't like it. Honestly, it's falling into torpedo bat territory for me, where I'm like, are we still talking about this? Here we are still talking about it. Talking about, hey, speaking about baseball bats, by the way, your Philadelphia Phillies 2 nights in a row for the first time since 2007 recorded 17 hits in a ball game. That's insane. And that happened. Yesterday, 17 hits. Game 1 of the series against the Rockies, 17 hits. That's pretty spectacular. Yesterday, you had 3 hit nights from Bryce Harper, Bryson Stott, and Brandon Marsh. Holy Stromboli. Brandon Marsh back with a vengeance since his little minor league stint there. It's a rehab stint, I should call it. This was a fun game to watch yesterday. It was actually more fun than game 1, simply because you had a 3-0 lead out of the first inning. Bryce Harper came up, got a 2-run double. Nick Castellanos brought Harper home from third on a sac fly RBI to center. And you were cooking. You're cooking, babe. And Jesus Luzardo. Now, if I read you his line, which is 6 innings, 1 run, 10 strikeouts, you're like, oh, dominant. There were some innings there where, I mean, he had, I believe it was 3 straight 20-plus innings, 20-pitch innings, which is a rarity for Jesus Luzardo. He matched his season high with 3 walks, which I know isn't an insane amount, but still, that's a lot. 105 pitches through 6 innings. If you're telling me 105 pitches, I'm thinking he gets through 7. He has now pitched over 100 pitches or more in 3 straight starts. That's pretty wild. And the 10 strikeouts is great. His season high is 11, and he had that in his first game of the season. 5-0 is the big number there also for Jesus Luzardo. He put himself on one hell of a list. I'll get to that later. But certainly battled through a couple of those innings, had 7 3-ball counts, if he got up in the count, he was pretty much punching you out. If it was a 1-1 count, a 2-2 count, you'd see it go to 3, you'd see it end in a walk, you'd see it go to an 8-pitch bat or a 7-pitch bat or a 9-pitch bat. There were definitely battles in there for Jesus Luzardo, but the bottom line is the bottom line. 6 innings, 1 run, 10 Ks. I'll take it. 2 hits, by the way. Just gave up 2 hits. The hits weren't the problem, obviously. Control at times, a little bit of a problem. But, man, the offense was obviously there to pick him up yesterday. 3-0 after the first inning. They tack on another one. Good to see Max Kepler get a hit. And then the Phillies have another great 7th inning yesterday. They get a couple of runs across in the 7th inning, including Kyle Schwarber's 17th home run of the season. 301st of his career. This one travels 430 to center field. That Doyle guy is not having a good run of things, jumping for baseballs, trying to rob home runs. But that one also went to center field yesterday, and I honestly don't understand how Kyle Schwarber wouldn't be an all-star this year. So let's hope that actually happens. But yeah, Phillies have been red hot at the plate. The other thing, look, they have Taijuan Walker on the hill today. So this game could be interesting. Palmquist, the rookie, the 24-year-old rookie, lefty for the Rockies, goes tonight for them, another 8:40 start time. Sure, I want to see Taijuan Walker go out there and give you 5 or 6 scoreless, trying to keep it somewhat realistic. 5 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 1 whatever. 6 innings, 2 runs, 3 runs. Quality start. Give me quality. That's all I ask for. Quality start. The Phillies in this ballpark are going to score more than 3 runs. Give me a quality start there, Taijuan Walker. But I will be breathing through a brown paper bag. We've seen him, twice since he went to the bullpen? One was that amazing relief appearance that he made in Tampa where he had 3 innings with 7 strikeouts. That's insane, but it happened. Insane is my word of the day, by the way. It's going to be interesting. Can I get some quality? I'll even settle for an almost quality start. Can I get 5 innings, 3 runs? Can I get 6 innings, 4 runs? I'll settle for that because I feel like this offense is just going to keep on scoring. Palmquist, by the way, in his major league debut, which was, by the way, a start ago. This is his second big league start tonight. He got his bell rung a little bit. 5 runs, 4 1/3, I believe he went, and 6 hits. Did not give up a home run, and I believe he only walked 1. So the Phillies, the hits will be there for them. with the runs to follow. We'll get more into the game coming up in a little bit. Also, something I want to touch on from yesterday. I saw this. I don't know if I read this wrong yesterday, which is totally a thing when I read the comments. I saw the Kevin Durant deal that somebody chalked up yesterday. I can't remember if it was Sean Kilray and Sean Gillespie. I can't remember who wrote it up there yesterday, but I don't believe whoever wrote it up in the comments added that we'd be trading, the Sixers would be trading their third overall pick. They'd be trading that number 3 overall pick. I'm not doing that. I believe the deal was a 2030. Somebody wrote it up yesterday, a 2030 first-round pick and Paul George for Kevin Durant. That I would do. But I would not trade the third overall pick for Kevin Durant. I'm not. No way. Let me explain something. The third overall pick to me, as I said in the show we did right after the draft or the lottery last week, I said the 76ers might have done more good for their team's future than they have done in 3.5 years of tanking for the process. The Sixers might have done more good in 1 second half of the season tanking than they did in 3.5 years of losing on purpose. Ace Bailey, who I believe the Sixers will be there and the Sixers will take. Ace Bailey's not only potential, but skill set coming into the NBA would be a sight for sore eyes. I absolutely love this kid. I absolutely love this young man. I would love to see what he could do at the NBA level. I would love to see him reach his full potential with the 76ers. You talk about the size, you talk about the mobility, what he can bring to the table, shot-making ability, shot-creating ability, defensive, as a weak side blocker, he could come down and help you tremendously in that regard. When you talk about blocking shots down there, I was having visions of not even him and Joel Embiid. I was having visions of him and Adem Bona just swatting shots on the blocks, babe. So no, I am not trading that third. There was talk even about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like anything the Sixers do, if the Sixers trade that number 3 overall pick, which again, I don't see them doing, but I know there's going to be rumors and people talking about it, and we might have had a little confusion on the show yesterday. If the Sixers trade that pick, I will feel deflated. I'm telling you right now. The odds of me feeling fantastic after they trade a number 3 overall pick, the odds of me feeling fantastic then, non-existent. Because that means that they're tripling down on the Joel Embiid era. Unless Joel Embiid isn't involved in this trade, which I still doubt, then all they're doing is saying, no, we can still win now with Joel Embiid and Paul George. The only trades I want to see in this offseason, you trade Joel Embiid, that'd be amazing. You trade Paul George with that contract, yeah, that would be amazing. You're able to add Ace Bailey to Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, an emerging, I believe, Adem Bona. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about watching this team grow and not having the expectations right out of the gate of they're going to win a championship. No, it's going to take some time to develop that kind of team and add to it to develop it into a championship contending team. And a lot of that would hinge on Ace Bailey, obviously. But I know what I'm seeing right now in the 76ers is going to end in more disappointment. I've maintained the same type of belief that the 76ers, even if Joel Embiid comes back and he's 100% healthy, the caliber of player that he once was, I don't believe exists anymore. I don't think you could just trade him. It's not like other teams are like, oh, he's probably healthy now because they want to trade him. No, what are you talking about? No, it's obviously. So watching all this play out, even if he comes back 100% healthy, I still see the Sixers losing in the first round of the playoffs. Sixers be lucky to be 5 or 6 seed, it feels like right now in the Eastern Conference. Am I supposed to have tremendous amount of confidence in Paul George? And here's the other thing. Let's say that this team starts out the season great. Let's say that they start out 8-2, 10-0. They have some kind of incredible run to start things off. Do you have confidence that Joel Embiid or Paul George are going to stay healthy through a season? Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to play 82 games. I'm not even talking about that. For a guy like Paul George, man, if you can get 70 games out of him, that's a miracle. If you can get 60 games out of Joel Embiid, then I don't know, another miracle, I guess. That seems next to impossible. But because of that, I'm not trading that number 3 pick. It's future time. It's future time. As soon, quickly, as humanly possible. So I ain't dealing that pick. So to go back to yesterday, someone suggesting the Kevin Durant deal that may or may not have left out the idea of trading a number 3 overall pick. I ain't doing that. I'm not trading my future for another aging player that's not going to get me out of the second round. That ain't happening. And by the way, I feel like I don't say this enough. The second round had stopped being the goal a long time ago. We are in championship or bust territory. That's where we're at right now for the 76ers. If the Sixers somehow make it to an Eastern Conference final, yeah, that'd be incredible. Not happening. If they make it to an NBA final and lose, then, yeah, you'll still feel pretty good about where this team could go. The other half of you might feel like, oh, this was the year. But I still feel that scenario is absolutely in fantasy land. Because I don't have confidence in this team staying healthy. I don't have confidence in this team, the caliber of talent on this team, staying at a high level and staying healthy all at the same time. Because if Joel Embiid, which I always say is the biggest if in sports, if Joel Embiid is healthy, then this team can be a dominant basketball team. This team can compete for a conference finals, for an NBA finals. But even if he comes back from this knee injury healthy, what's the next injury? Because that's how we're trained with Joel Embiid. What's next? Oh, that's healthy. Re-aggravate. Something else get hurt. Foot. Concussion. Broken finger. The list. Gastroenteritis. It's always my favorite one to go back to during the Jimmy Butler days of the Philadelphia 76ers. So that's where we're at right now. So, no, I am not trading that number 3 overall pick. All right, let's get to back to your Eagles before we delve into the Phillies a little bit more. First and foremost, today, May 21st, 2025, is a day that will live in tush-push history. Will the Philadelphia Eagles be able to keep their marquee play, the tush-push? Today, it gets voted on. NFL owners' meetings, more owners' meetings, going on right now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And they're all talking about that ass, whether or not the tush-push will be banned or not. We've shown you the document, the revised document that the Packers have passed on to the league as to vote on it or not. They've tried whipping up votes over the last 90 days. I want to correct something here because I forget what NFL account it was on Instagram. I saw it pop up yesterday, and it was all like, it should be banned. It's not a football play. It's an ugly play. And it's all the same rhetoric that you've heard time and time again. I can't stress to you guys enough how dumb this is, especially the argument of the Eagles being the only team that run it well. I gave the numbers to you yesterday. I've given the numbers to you guys before. The Eagles and the Bills run it with 87% efficiency. The rest of the league since 2022 has run it with 71% efficiency. Other teams run this play, and they also run it well. 71% of the time they have success with it. I don't know too many coaches around the NFL that wouldn't love to have a play that they're 71% of the time successful running. That sounds like it'd be a good play to run. So for whatever reason, they want to ban it. Yes, the Eagles do it better than anyone. Sure. The Bills do it a close second. I still can't believe we're talking about this because even everything you read in the Packers' description of why they want to change the rule, it just sounds like football. The rugby comparisons are just people that have never watched rugby, never really watched rugby, and quite frankly, I think are casuals when it comes to the NFL. Jordan Mailata did talk about it yesterday, and you know what? More power to him. I think he had a great take on it.
Yeah, man, it's not up to us, and we can't control if they rule it or not. But they're ruling the push.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we just do it without no push then. You know, I think that's the solution.
What's the effect of that not having the push? I mean,
I don't know. I'm not a Mr. Analytics guy or stats keeper. You might have to look that up, what this conversion rate is. But listen, guys, as in terms of them banning the tush push, I hate that name, so I hope they do ban it. It's a stupid name. But I can't control that. We can't control it, so we don't even worry about that, right?
Yeah, don't even worry about it. He just said we just line up and we play whatever play they call. We run whatever play they called, and we establish the type of offense that we are as the season starts, with or without the tush push. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you have run this play with Jalen Hurts with great efficiency. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you have run this play with Kenny Pickett, and it still worked. Still worked last year with Kenny Pickett. I think you can be really confident that whoever it is. Wait, hold on a second. I can't push my quarterback anymore. Okay. He can squat 600 pounds. There's plenty of instances where he ran the play and just got the yardage without anybody getting all up in there. And they've also run the play. You can just give the ball to Saquon Barkley. He's pretty good at football. They also can give the ball to A.J. Dillon, another guy they call Quadzilla. So, yeah, okay, ban it. Ban it, you sore losers. That, by the way, also run the play at a pretty good efficiency rate as well. So it just continues to make this one of the dumbest. I've told you guys before about one day talking to my fictitious grandchildren and them asking me about the process and me telling them how Jimmy Butler was the domino that fell that made the process go away and unsuccessful and all that. But tell me about the tush push. Well, back in the day, the Eagles ran this play, and we actually talked about this for a long time, and then the NFL banned it. Well, did everyone else run it well? Yeah, they ran it pretty well. Was it really that dangerous? No one was ever hurt. Did it stop the clock? Not even for a second. It actually kept the clock going. Then why did they ban it? Well, because nanny boo boo, stick your head in doo doo. That's it. That should be on the proposal by the Green Bay Packers, and just a guy with a face like, just like doing that face. You know what I mean? Whatever. The Steve Spurrier. So yeah, that all happened and get decided today. Nick Sirianni, his take on the whole situation with the NFL, with the tush push and all that, was just like, yeah, it's out of our control. We'll find out tomorrow, meaning today. Jalen Hurts, literally nothing to say about it. So that's where we're at. Now, as far as your head coach, it is absolutely bonkers to me if this guy only signed a deal that was just past $10 million. Now, I don't care if he was making $5 million and he just got his wages doubled. That doesn't matter. It never matters for just you. It matters for the market. Now, was Nick Sirianni going anywhere? Obviously not. Should the Eagles want him to go anywhere? Obviously not. But the only report that was out there that I saw that had anything to do with numbers, and I know that sometimes Adam Schefter wakes up early and gets this information. He'll wake up to a text or whatever. I haven't seen anything other than Howard Eskin's number yesterday that said Nick Sirianni's multi-year contract is nicely past $10 million a year. Nicely past. So 11 and a half, 12 million, 14 million, 15, 16 million. In your mind, what is nicely past $10 million? I'd love to know what jumps to your mind. Nicely past $10 million. Yeah, nothing from old Shefty when it comes to the deal. Nothing. Ben Johnson, $13 million to be the head coach of the Bears. Sean Payton, $18 million. I would think Nick Sirianni would be more in that category. To be nicely past 10, what does that mean to you? Because that sounds like 11 and a half to me, maybe 12. Maybe if we're generously past 10 million, then I would think, okay, 15, way to go. But I'm sure this will come out at some point. It always does. It always does. Andy Reid, by the way, $20 million. for those that didn't know. So that's where we're at right now. Now, when it came to Nick Sirianni getting his new deal, Jordan Mailata also talked about what his head coach means to him and how he reacted to Nick Sirianni getting that money.
You know, I always go back, when I think of Nick Sirianni and the growth that he has shown, I mean, I look at my growth first, but I also see coach's growth. And I think about that time, his first press conference, or second press conference, when he talked about the flower. And now I just want to give him his flowers. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job building the culture of this locker room. And it's no surprise that he got a, multi-year contract? Does anybody know what it was worth?
Not yet.
Just want to know. I was just asking, but
Multi-millions.
But, you know, I'm not surprised. All the scrutiny that he's gotten, and to be able to come back every year and preach the message, but also correct his mistakes and show accountability. He's always me first, then you. And when you have a coach who allows even the players, it's not coaching-led. He says too, it's not coaching-led, it's player-led. He gives us our space to be able to create that culture as well. And we feed off that.
You know, I'm almost embarrassed that yesterday, when we were talking about all the great things, yeah, I mentioned emotional intelligence and all that, you know, with Nick Sirianni. But, I mean, this is where I break it away from sports and think this certainly revolves in any, mere mortal's world, you know, where I think we have all at some point, whether it be in our real careers or at any job we might have even had it in high school, where you just look at a boss and you're like, you're in charge. You're the guy that's really, you're the person really running this show. And they'll make mistakes and then they'll just stick by them. You could call it pig-headedness. You can call it hard-headedness, stubborn, obviously. And people will try to give them feedback and be like, hey, look, just so you know, this, that, and the other. And they're like, don't care. This is how we're doing it. And then it still continues to fail. I think we've all had someone like that in our lives. Imagine being a football player and a coach is telling you, no, this works. You stick, I know more than you, and I'm going to show you. And they're like, no, don't really, seriously, don't do it. And then they do it. And then that's how you get Chip Kelly. No, this is going to work. It's not working. No, you just wait. I'm brilliant. You just wait and see, and I'll show you how brilliant I am. You just wait. I do give a lot of credit to Nick Sirianni. Some people might take it as he doesn't know what he's doing. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, especially when it comes to listening to his players. And when you talk about something after that bye week, the constants that we go to after that bye week are the Eagles committed more to the run of the football. And they did. I mean, Saquon Barkley was still running the football well before that, but they really committed to the run after that. Cooper DeJean being added as your starting slot corner, your nickel, as Vic Fangio would say. Absolutely, after the bye week, that's fantastic. But when I was listening to Jalen Hurts yesterday talk about his head coach, I was transported back in time to week 6. Eagles come out of their week 5 bye week, and unsolicited, Jalen Hurts had glowing remarks about his head coach. He was asked about the bye week, and then he talked about getting on the same page, didn't get into like vacation or anything like that. He just talked about his head coach and how great his head coach is. Keep in mind, about 2 months before that, he was asked a question. I believe it was Martin Frank of the Delco Times asked Jalen Hurts, what does it say about your head coach that he is so adaptable with other people coming in here to run the offense and run the defense? Basically, a question put on a tee for Jalen Hurts to be like, say something nice about your head coach. 250 yards down the middle of the fairway. Say something nice about your head coach. And Jalen Hurts' response at that moment was, Nick who? Soriano? Who? Like he had never heard of it, Nick Sirianni before. Like all you had to do was say something nice. Oh yeah, his adaptability is great. You know, it's a collective effort. We're all putting in our 2 cents. Give me players speak. He didn't give it. And then after the bye week, Nick's great. We're besties. We're gonna have a sleepover tonight. That's where he more or less went. So for a quarterback and a head coach to get on the same page after not having been on the same page at all, really, to that point, with people celebrating them riding on the same golf cart, if you remember that from last year, in training camp. They're like, okay, if we're celebrating this, then it seems like they still have a long way to go. And after the bye week, they were absolutely on the same page. What else happened during that time? Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, they went to their head coach. And they had an Nick Sirianni open door policy with his players. They have a conversation about what they need to do. Players are like, yeah, we got that Saquon Barkley guy back there. He's really good at running the football. We're a really good offensive line at throwing our weight around to clear some lanes for him. And Jalen Hurts turns out to be phenomenal with his pre-snap reads. Oh, that's what they're doing? Touchdown. Here's the ball. It's worked out well. And a lot of that has worked out well because Nick Sirianni is willing to listen. He's not stuck in his ways. He's adaptable. He has the ability to evolve. And all of that is a credit to his listening skills. And Jordan Mailata highlighted that for his team yesterday and highlighted that for his head coach. Yeah, sure, Mailata thinks about his own evolution in the game, as he should, because it's incredible. But also talked about his head coach, as you heard it right there, about what he brings to the table as far as really understanding a player's mindset. Again, as we talked about yesterday, not having played in the NFL. It's a pretty amazing thing. Pretty amazing thing. And to win a Super Bowl, to have played in two. Like, again, if you're just following this from afar, if you're not an Eagles fan, you're just a football fan, whatever, you're a fantasy football fan, you see what the Eagles have done over the last 4 years with Nick Sirianni as their head coach. Okay, playoffs every year. 2 Super Bowl appearances. It's pretty amazing. And then you also look at Howie Roseman and the talent that he's brought in here. But to listen to Jordan Mailata talk about a head coach like that, his head coach is pretty special. Yesterday, Jalen Hurts also offered his congratulatory remarks when it came to Nick Sirianni, how well earned they were. Just a testament to Nick Sirianni's hard work. Jalen really went on yesterday and had some great things to say about his head coach. The more interesting thing that I find with Jalen Hurts gets away from... Now, by the way, Nick Sirianni, again, mum was pretty much the word when he talked about his new deal. Didn't really get into it. Didn't disclose any information. Years, money, nothing like that. Just talked about the testament to the work ethic of the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's why he's here and how he still wants to make sure that this team is not resting on their laurels and always improving. Well, Jalen Hurts got into that yesterday. Now, to go back to his first press conference after the Super Bowl MVP press conference, the day or two, whatever it is, after the Super Bowl, he stood at his locker at the NovaCare complex, and he's the first quarterback I've ever heard of referring to the Super Bowl as if it was an inconvenience to his schedule, specifically his off-season workout regimen. He talked about winning the Super Bowl like, well, now I'm behind everybody else because I was busy winning the Super Bowl, and everyone else is already in their off-season plans, conditioning programs, and all that. I was like, did he just refer to the Super Bowl as if it was like an obstacle? Like, I got to get through winning the Super Bowl, and then I could go lift weights. What? That's how he did it. And like, God bless this guy. So yesterday, he was asked specifically about what he's done this offseason to make sure that the Eagles don't just sit back and go, okay, Super Bowl champions, we're good. Jalen Hurts doesn't just sit back and go, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, okay, I'm good. He had a new catchphrase. And I wonder if we're going to be hearing this time and time again. See if you pick it up.
You have to be able to decode, detect, and then correct, and you refine the things that you need to refine. I think the bigger picture, the more important thing is being able to detect what I can improve on and how important it is to improve in that. We can all work hard in something, but not necessarily be working hard on the right things. And so we were able to evolve and add a different dynamic. Obviously, we're having 2-6 back there and what he's able to do and just kind of complimenting him in the backfield. And then, the ability to pass the ball and be efficient in that when we need to do that. And so right now it's just laying the foundation, trying to figure out what iteration of this team, what this iteration of the team will be.
I found it interesting that he talked about the passing efficiency because we've talked about a lot. We talked about that a lot on this show. But in case you didn't catch it, decode, detect, and then correct. Decode, detect, and then correct. By the way, for those scoring at home, I believe it was 1:49 p.m. yesterday that we got our first "the main thing is the main thing." Keep the main thing the main thing. So, of the new league year, I believe that's our first "main thing is the main thing." So, congratulations, everybody. The new league year has really started. But decode, detect, and correct. The mental know-how of Jalen Hurts as far as the work he puts in off the football field is really the stuff that great quarterbacks are made of. And I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I think it takes a great quarterback and somebody with a phenomenal mindset, by the way, to say what he just said about featuring Saquon Barkley. I mean, think about that. We have 2-6 in the backfield. We want to make sure that we can complement him. You don't hear too many quarterbacks talk about that. The thing that makes him great is obviously his physical ability, what he has between the ears, but also his ability to step out of the way and not try to shoehorn that. No, guys. I need to get at least 250 passing yards in here so people think I can do. No. Don't give a damn. Oh, look, we have more points than they do. At the end of the game, we win. That's all that matters to him. That is the main thing. The main thing of the main thing is winning another Super Bowl. Okay? I think that's pretty easy. But that's what makes him such a great quarterback. That's what makes him the guy that I've said, he's the quarterback we've been waiting for. He's the quarterback like every franchise wants. I'm sorry, you have a good dude at quarterback? You have a guy with a phenomenal skill set at quarterback? You have a guy who wins at quarterback? You have a guy who is egoless at quarterback? Yeah, I want that guy. That sounds like a lot of characteristics I'd love to have in a quarterback, especially the part where he's a great player. It just happens that he's on the same football team right now with a historic player in Saquon Barkley. And certainly a historic tandem, for lack of a better word. When you talk about Saquon Barkley behind a Jeff Stoutland offensive line, I find these to be incredible attributes when you talk about Jalen Hurts and what he brings to the table of the Philadelphia Eagles. My ask, which it's been since Kevin Patullo took over, is this offense in the passing game is good enough and certainly efficient enough to take more of a workload off of Saquon Barkley's work truck. Absolutely. Good enough to be able to do that. Efficient enough to be able to do that. And although I would love to see Saquon Barkley break the regular season rushing record, what I would also love to see, there's a term in, I don't even know if they use it in football, but I know in basketball they always refer to it as the usage rate, and people are always freaking out about Joel Embiid's use, or they use him too much. Well, yeah, I would like to see a drop in the usage rate of Saquon Barkley if the Eagles can swing it in the upcoming season, and I think they can. I think they're a talented enough team to do it. I want to keep him as fresh as humanly possible. If he has a couple of more 200-yard games and ends up breaking that record, then great. But hey, let's keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is winning another Super Bowl. I've referenced the number many times. 482 touches is what Saquon Barkley had last year. I understand that he's not getting battered, bruised, and beaten every one of those touches from the regular season through the postseason and Super Bowl. I understand, as some people have put it, they're not Derrick Henry carries. But they're still carries, they're still touches. I would love to see a middle-of-the-road passing attack in terms of the overall numbers with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'd love to see them be in the middle of the road when it comes to passing yards, passing attempts. Just show me that you're using those numbers more and more. And or should be using that part of the game more and more. And Jalen, the other part of his game that I found really fascinating about last year, I felt like he really cracked the code. Like, I understand many people know this, but Jalen just didn't do it. He did not turn the football over. It bled in from last year to this year. It bled in through really the first 4 games of the season, but really after that, spick and span. And he did that by eating a sack if he had to eat a sack. He did that by throwing the football away if he had to throw the football away. Getting out of bounds if he had to get out of bounds. Sure, like the play that he was injured against the Commanders, he did not get out of bounds. He did not get out of bounds. But more often than not, just making sure he did not put the precious pigskin in peril and living to fight another down. Were there times where he should have thrown the football away and took a sack? Yeah, absolutely. But why am I going to risk hauling that arm back, possibly getting the ball knocked out? Levante David's play in Tampa, where he had a small, window, what do you call it? A phone booth. Remember a phone booth? He had a phone booth, small closet. He had to throw the football in. Levante, boom, knocked it out of his hand. Maybe a little shell-shocked, overly cautious at times. Sure. But just, hey, if I don't turn this football over, then that really decreases their odds in beating us. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I don't turn that football over. Oh, and if I give the football to Saquon Barkley, it would probably give me a touchdown. So there you go. So that was all through yesterday. Once more, I know I played this yesterday, but NFL owners meetings in Minneapolis. Eagles sitting down at the table. Ugh. Let's find out about the tush push later today. Nick Sirianni, when he talked yesterday, I mean, really, he didn't say anything that really jumped out at me. He talked to Nick Saban over the offseason, just kind of getting a chance to pick his brain about what it takes to be a great head coach, get repeat championships, get back to the dance and all that stuff. Talking about Kevin Petula, how hungry he is. Loves the opportunity. Talked about making sure every offensive coordinator he's had has made sure that they've really taken advantage of what every player's skill set is, what their strengths are, lack of a better word, putting them in the best possible position to have success, making sure that the defense continues to grow, offense continues to grow, that they dress up certain things, they add wrinkles, love that term, and all that from last year. So there you go. That's what you had from Nick Sirianni yesterday. Your Philadelphia Phillies. They are about to win. With a win today or in Game 4 of this series against the Rockies, they will have won 7 of their last 9 series. Come on, Taijuan Walker. Let's get it going today. Last night, Phillies, for the second straight night, got 17 hits in a game. They have not gotten back-to-back 17-hit performances since 2007. They went back to the playoffs for the first time in 14 years that year. They got 17 hits. Last night, they got 17 hits in Game 1. Last night, Bryson Stott, Bryce Harper, Brandon Marsh, all 3-hit performances. Bryce Harper got things going in the first inning with a 2-run double to left field. Nick Castellanos then brought him home after he was sacrificed fly over to third. Nick Castellanos brought him home on a sac fly RBI to center. Max Kepler, great to see him get a hit yesterday, especially an RBI in the 5th inning. And then in the 7th inning, Kyle Schwarber just unloaded on another pitch. No, this one wasn't 466 feet, but this one was 430 feet. Sinker, middle of the plate that he just demolished. I think it was a 1-0 sinker, as a matter of fact. And he just tattooed it over the wall in center field. And then Lazar came in for his first run of the season. Solid 8th inning, not so solid 9th inning. A couple of runs across the plate there. Jose Ruiz, not solid in his first action in quite some time. He allowed a run. He pitched the 7th inning. That was not a welcome sight. It went from a 7-1 ball game to a 7-4 ball game, but I never felt like the Phillies were going to lose it, and they held on to win 7-4. I mentioned Jesus Luzardo earlier. Yes, he had some struggle-filled innings. He had, I believe, 3 straight 20-plus pitch innings, which is rare for him. He had 7 3-ball counts. He had 3 walks, matches a season high. He was 1 strikeout shy of matching a season high in strikeouts with 11. He had 10 last night. But bottom line is 6 innings, 1 run. 2 hits. 2 hits. The Phillies, by the way, on the other side of things, Could have had a lot more hits in last night's game, but they got robbed a number of times by Tavares, especially JT Realmuto. Speaking of a guy who needs to break out of a slump, JT Realmuto, holy stromboli, this guy. I was trying to break down his splits, but his splits aren't far off of the fact that he's hitting 233 on the season. Good Lord, man. He hit a couple of balls hit up the middle last night that just got pounced on by Tavares. I'd like to see him break out of that. But anyway, back to Jesus Luzardo. When he needed punch-outs, he certainly got punch-outs. But there was one inning that really stuck out to me. The second inning yesterday, I thought was the turning point of the game. Now, you can obviously just look to a 3-run first inning and be like, all right, they got this. But you always want to know that your starter's locked in. So the first inning, he strikes out Tolia on a 2-2 slider. He walks Doyle for his first walk of the game. He gets Alec Boehm playing a phenomenal third base bag yesterday with the phenomenal Brooks Robinson-esque lunging to your right in foul territory, and then does the Manny Machado, Brooks Robinson, Derek Jeter jump throw to second base and is right at the mitt of Bryson Stott to get the force out there for the second out of the inning. Then, in the same inning, Jesus Luzardo loses an 8-pitch at-bat battle with Freeman, who puts a single into center field, and then Amador grounds out on the comebacker to Luzardo on a 9-pitch at bat. 27 pitches in the inning, no runs score. At the end of that inning, I went, Phillies got this. There's no way Luzardo is going to have struggles like that again throughout this game, and there's also no way the Phillies are only scoring 3 runs. So I felt pretty good after that moment that the Phillies were going to be on top of this game, and they were. 27 pitches, though, in the second inning for Jesus Luzardo. 21 pitches in the third inning. He settled down. No, he got the 4. I'm sorry. He had another, I think, 22-pitch inning. Yeah, 22-pitch inning in the 5th. And then in the 6th inning, his last inning, which, yes, I was surprised that with it being a 4-1 lead against the Rockies, with the Phillies kind of, you can have confidence that they had more offense in them. I was surprised that at 94 pitches, they sent Jesus Luzardo back out there. I was surprised. 11 pitches later, 1-2-3 inning, including his 9th and 10th strikeouts of the night. He cruised that inning without a problem. He got Goodman on a slider. He got Tolia on a changeup, and then he got Doyle to ground out to second base. One hell of a night for Jesus Luzardo. Did he battle? Yeah. Did he have some struggles? Sure. But he didn't let that affect his bottom line. So the Phillies pick up the win yesterday. I mentioned Kyle Schwarber's home run was fantastic, 430 feet. Alec Boehm, by the way, with another RBI. I mean, looking at the way these guys have been hitting lately, I think I still have it here. I do. Where is it? There it is. Looking at these guys' numbers from last night. I mean, look at this. Closing out last night. Bryson Stott, 3 hits, batting average back up to 265. Obviously, you want to see that continue to decline. Trey Turner, another multi-hit game, 305 on the season. Bryce Harper hitting 272 now, a much more respectable 272 with a 381 on base percentage. 3 hits, 2 runs batted in. Kyle Schwarber with a hit. Nick Castellanos with a hit. Max Kepler with a multi-hit game. Alec Boehm with a multi-hit game. Brandon Marsh with a 3-hit game. To see Alec Boehm up there around 264, at 264, is great, considering where he was like a month ago. Brandon Marsh getting his average, forget about 230, up past 200. I mean, we're talking about a guy at 198 not too long ago. All this is great to see from the Philadelphia Phillies, and they're going to need it tonight with Taijuan Walker pitching at Coors Field. I mean, I still got him winning. I mean, come on, Taijuan. Come on. Make me a believer in this team. Make me a believer in you. I believe in the Phillies. Make me a believer in you. Oh, and how about this? Not that I like to look at the standings before Memorial Day. So I'm a little ahead of the curve here. Philadelphia Phillies are a game and a half up on the New York Mets in the NL East. Just like that. Bing, bang, boom. So there you go. Also, one public service announcement. I understand they beat the Rockies twice to start out this 2-game series. I understand they've scored 7 runs in game 2, 9 runs in game one. I'll go ahead and do the math. 8 runs a game they're averaging over these first 2 games. I know it's the Rockies. I know the Rockies suck. But the Phillies are doing exactly what they should do against a far inferior team. They're winning convincingly. That's all I ask for. Don't play down to your opponent. By the way, the final score of today's game with Palmquist and Walker will be 23-22. Phillies win the game tonight. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase. And don't forget, how about this? Oh, my goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app, that filters out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. Game, concert, comedy show, Game Time app has you covered. And you can also view your seat's vantage point before you buy it. So you know what that does? That gets right down to it. It takes the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how your wonderful people are doing on this fine Wednesday morning. William Stark, good morning. Sean Kilrain, what's popping? Danny, what's going on? Daniel, hello, good morning. Sean Kilrain, Phillies are the first team in National League to 30 wins. How about that? Sean Kilrain, most home runs by Phillies player in first 48 games of a season. Cy Williams, wow, 20 in 1923. Chuck Klein, 18 in 1930. Mike Schmidt, 18 in 1980. Raul Ibanez, 17 in his first 48 games. Damn. Schwarber in 09 and Schwarber now. That's pretty spectacular. Hold on. That reminds me. There's one list. Did you guys see this? NBC Sports Philly had it. Do I have it? Here it is. All right. For Jesus Luzardo, no losses and a sub-2 ERA. Jesus Luzardo is now at 198 on the season. 195? What's he at? 195. 195 on the season. Jesus Luzardo. So this is no losses, sub-2 ERA in first 10 starts with a new team. Jesus Luzardo, Max Fried with the Yankees this year, Max Scherzer in 2021 with the Dodgers, Justin Verlander with the Astros, CC Sabathia with the Brewers in 08. How did that season end with him? Oh, yeah, Brett Myers taking him deep. Pedro Martinez in 1998 with the Bo Sox, and Roger Clemens with the Toronto Blue Jays in 1997. So, once again, Jesus Luzardo is on a list with Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, CC Sabathia, Pedro Martinez, and Roger Clemens. Welcome to South Philly, Jesus Luzardo. No losses, sub-2 ERA in first 10 starts. Big bang boom. How about that? What am I at? I always lose my place when I go for numbers. William Stark, I refer to as the brother of the shove. To each their own. To each their own. I still want to know what Jalen Hurts calls it. Maybe after it gets banned, Jalen Hurts will say what it's called. Because he's like, I don't call it the tush push. He never says what he calls it. Kyle Schwarber now on pace for 57 home runs this season. How about that? 55 yesterday, 57 now. Nice, Sean. Green Bay Packers are the Karens of the NFL. Sean Conway, the Karens. I'm going to start a movement to defend Karens because my sister-in-law is a Karen. Literally, her name is Karen, and she's the sweetest woman on the planet. Just the nicest woman you could meet. A young lady. I'll say that. Jeremy Von Skyver. Hello. What's up, buddy? Good morning. These later games suck. I need a couple of shots of caffeine. I had really bad espresso yesterday. I had to run into town and get some stuff. And I had to go to the hardware store, do some man things. And on the way out, I was like, I got a minute. I got to get a little espresso. Get a little espresso from a little coffee shop. My little coffee shop, not a chain coffee shop, where it's like super hipster, And I walk in there and I get the espresso. I've had the espresso there before and it was good. This espresso had that like soury taste to it. God, I hate that. Despise it, actually. I hate it. I already started. I'll finish. My cousin who lives in Pittsburgh, the day of his wedding, the day before his wedding, I said, "Hey man, you need anything tomorrow? I know there's all this last minute stuff. Let me know, and I'm happy to do a beer run, whatever. If you're supplying the booze to the reception area, which I thought he was, I'm happy to help out." And he's like, "Thanks so much. All you could do for me is running a restaurant in Pittsburgh, in Shady Side area of Pittsburgh." And he said, go to this place that I started running and have the espresso. I know you love espresso, and I'd love to get your opinion on the espresso. So I did. Me and my wife, we went. I had the espresso. It was horrible. It was this espresso that I'm talking about here with the soury taste to it. And I was like, well, I can't just tell him that the espresso sucked. So I got to get something else. So I got a cappuccino, and the cappuccino was really good. It was really good cappuccino. So, of course, I see this man, obviously at his wedding, at the reception, and I'm out with his sister, my cousin Jess, who I love so much, who's like a sister to me. And we're sitting there, and she goes, "Hey, did you go to that Doug's place?" I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "How was the espresso?" I go, "Oh God, it was terrible. I got a cappuccino though. The cappuccino was great, so I could tell Doug the cappuccino was great." She goes, "Okay, cool." Just at that second, literally that second, Doug walks out. We're in like this deck area, patio area, looking out over the city of Pittsburgh, and first thing Doug says to me, he goes, "Hey, how was the restaurant?" I go, "Oh my God, the cappuccino was amazing." And Jess she goes, "And the espresso?" Just like that. I'm like, "Oh, damn it, Jess." And he looks at me and he goes, "You didn't like it, did you?" I go, "I thought it was horrible." And he just is like, "Yeah, you like motor oil." I was like, he's got me there. I do like the motor oil. But that soury espresso, I do not recommend. That is very popular. I know that was a fascinating story. I'm sorry. But the soury espresso is terrible. I don't even know what to call the regular espresso. The good espresso. Some people go nuts for that soury stuff. That was a long story that went nowhere. I'm sorry. I don't know why I went off on that tangent. It's Sean Gillespie. Hello. Jeremy Von Skyver. I wonder how much money Schwarber will command in the open market if they can afford him as well as Luzardo. He won't be able to pay both. Probably. April. Good morning, April. April, can the Eagles propose that you can't jump into the stands after a touchdown, because of safety and all? April, that is, of all your great comments, this is a great comment. All right, you guys want to ban the tush push? We will ban players jumping into the stands because fans can get hurt. And pace of play, by the way. Sean Kilride, since ERA became official in both leagues in 1913, two MLB lefties have gone undefeated with sub-2 ERAs. 10 plus Ks over 9. Ks per 9. Over the first side, I guess he's one of them. Oh, Randy Johnson. There it is. Sorry, I didn't. Next comment. Randy Johnson and Jesus Luzardo since 1913. Go Sixers says, love watching Luzardo pitch. So do I. Hey, Tampa Eagle. Good morning. Good morning. There's a mock trade out there with the Phillies. Felix Bautista, the Orioles. He's a righty. Ranger Suarez, Dylan Campbell, Single A, Ruiz, and Jose Ruiz. Tyler O'Neill and Felix Bautista. Interesting. I'd have to see what Tyler O'Neill. What's Tyler O'Neill doing this year? Anything special? No. 188 batting average. 2 home runs. 29 years old. 31 homers last year, 241 batting average. I think I'll pass on that and save Suarez for something else. I don't know. Farzi, this is a good trade for the Phillies. I don't like it. Jeremy, once the league does away with the tush push, I hope Sirianni runs up the score in Green Bay on Monday night. That would be beautiful. 60 points on their aces. Would love it. And I also would love them to just run the quarterback sneak a bunch of times without, pushing that ass. Ken Sod, good morning. God bless. Incredible tush push. Done by the greatest offensive line in the world. They are just banning the Eagles, right? Philly Magic 365. Goodell will destroy football for money. He's proving that. I have this concern because Roger Goodell has limitless ambition, and that's dangerous. Those guys usually don't do too well. But as of right now, he just continues to grow the game. It's just a matter of when does that bubble burst. Ken Sod says $18 million for Nick Sirianni. Hurts sounds like he works for TSA. That's funny. The mommy, what's going on? Park Alexander, hello. Good morning. Don Colton looking at the passing game and pass rush and Ringo on the outside. Possibly. Sean Kilrain, espresso has to be a bold flavor. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Now I feel like I haven't. Wait. April, God bless you. Jess is not that cousin. No. Although the same cousin group. Polish side of the family. Same cousin group. First cousins. But no, not that cousin. I will never reveal the name. I will never utter the name of my cousin. Nope. Not going to do it. Still the worst best man speech I've ever heard in my entire life. He named the roster, okay? He named the roster of the groom. If you know what I mean by roster, then you know what I mean by roster. In front of my whole family, my 21 first cousins, my 11 aunts and uncles. All the guys were like, all right, if our one uncle, father of the groom at the wedding, father of the wife of the, my cousin. If he makes a move on this dude, we're all moving. We're all going. Beat the crap out of this kid. Anyway, yeah, no, Jess is not that cousin. Brian, hello. OKC is so unwatchable. SGA got the most elite whistle. I didn't watch any of the game last night, Brian. I didn't watch any of the game. Most elite whistle. That's funny. And I've watched Joel Embiid play in the NBA, says Brian. That's funny. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You got, Tampa Eagle. Here we go. Nick deserves 60 to 18 million. Give Barkley 100 fewer touches. That'd be a good goal. Appreciate that. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. All right, we'll official know the name or the ruling on the tush push. Me and the crew from Locked On Eagle Squad podcast will be on later today at noon doing a show. We might know by then whether or not the tush push is in existence or not. I know Birds 365 coming up at 8 o'clock on Jacob Media. We'll have some fresh takes on it as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned on Jacob Media for that. In the meantime, like and subscribe to The Farzi Show. Like and subscribe to Jacob Media. Like and subscribe to Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Me for your postcast. Like and subscribe to Locked On Eagles YouTube channel as well for your Eagle Squad podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Phillies, 8:40 tonight. Taiwan Walker against Carson Palmquist, the rookie. See you guys after the Phillies tonight. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.